Arirang Special.
Kimura Rizako is a Japanese homemaker. She takes out her smartphone after her husband goes to work. It looks as if she's going to make a call. But then, she logs on to a game site. This game is a little different from the typical ones we know. It's a mobile farming game called Hatakepi. Unlike other farming games where all you do is give water or fertilizer, you can enjoy the entire process of farming, which is monitored by a farming expert as a game. What makes this different from other farming games is that you can actually receive the products you raised in virtual reality from real farms. It fulfills the desires of urbanites who wish to farm and also helps increase profits for farms. It's fun, easy, and simple. The fever for smart tech that's rocking the world is also connecting the city and country. How will the wave of smart technology change the future of agriculture? And how will we ride the smart wave? Agriculture began around 6000 BC. About 8,000 years ago, farming began with a history of mankind and became the foundation on which humans could exist until this day and age. However, as industrialization began, agriculture, which had been the basis of survival, slowly ended up on the back burner based on economic decisions that assessed agriculture to be yielding low profits. But due to reckless development, the Earth's environment has lost its balance, and now all nations are trying to revive the Earth through agriculture. The merging of digital mechanisms and smart minds with agriculture is now thought to be the final savior that will save the Earth and humankind from doom. Smart technology is changing farms. Farms are now automated, unmanned, large-scale, and efficient. They are no longer the farms we used to know. Kagoshima, Japan is famous for its green tea fields. A new worker has been employed this year at this green tea farm. Marina is 31 this year. She majored in early childhood education. She was a nursery school teacher for 8 years in the city, but a year ago she decided to work at her father's tea farm and return to her home village. In Japan, continuing the family business is something to be proud of. Her father graduated from the prestigious law school at Fukuoka University, but he returned home to succeed the family business. 40 years later, his daughter has also returned to the farm. Not being able to agree or disagree with her decision, her father has mixed feelings.
私に男の子がいなかったから、女の子3人、誰かがついてくれるかなという少しの期待はあったんですが、それが実現できたということが一つは嬉しいです。ただ問題はお茶の消費が落ち込んでいるのが一番懸念されていることで、自分たちが始めた時に比べて難しいという、ものすごく難しいんじゃないかという、そういう考えでいっぱいです。だから大変じゃないかなということも心配しています。
30 hectares of green tea fields and an annual production of 600 tons. That is the amount of work she must now be responsible for. She is extremely busy doing all sorts of jobs in order to manage the vast tea fields as well as the factory full of complicated machines. For a young woman from the city to manage 30 hectares of green tea fields is anything but easy. But she was able to bravely take a step into farming because of the well-organized farming system. Farm life without a system can only be dependent on experience, which becomes a barrier that prevents people on the outside from coming in. However, farms that are systemized and mechanized is a land of opportunity where anyone can take up the challenge. How did Marina, a city girl, leave her life behind to return to the country? One reason was due to the support from the local agriculture co-op. Like Korea, Japan also has an agricultural cooperative in farming villages. They sample and analyze the soil of each farm and advise people on the appropriate fertilizers and sprinkling time, helping them to produce good agricultural products through systematic soil management.
ここでもう一回整えて、またおそらく適肥ですので、技術員の方で農家の皆さんに説明して、で肥料をそれに合わせて設計していくということで、コストかけずにいい成分のものを、畑に施してもらうっていうふうなことを行ってます。
The mechanization of agriculture has also increased efficiency. For example, at this green tea farm, only 2 people are needed to collect the 600 tons of green tea a year. The rest is done by a machine.
チェジュ島には、生葉で1時間3000キロ処理できる最新の工場が、私どもの工場が稼働しています。その工場でオペレーター4人で稼働しています。100年前と比べるとお茶を揉む効率はですね、300倍ぐらい効率化されていると思います。
A company specializing in green tea machines that exports products to Jeju Island as well is developing a machine optimized for green tea production. The machine sorts out any impurities in the green tea. It sorts out even the smallest foreign substances within the piles of green tea. As smart farming machines that replace manual labor are being developed, agriculture that had once depended only on experience has become smart. Systematic consulting and mechanization have become a strong foundation for beginning farmers trying to build their dreams. What does Marina think the future of agriculture will be?
幼稚園の先生もすごくやりがいがあって大好きだったんですが、小さい頃からずっと父と母が社交場をしているのを見てきていて、でちょっと父と母が年を取ってきて後継者がいないってなった時に自分ができるんじゃないかなってそう思って、少しずつ勉強してやっていこうと思いました。
やっぱり女性が女の子が工場農協の畑をするのは難しいんじゃないかな考えもありますけど大丈夫ですか？
農業って言っても数年前に会社になったので男の人たちが社員として畑にも出てくれますし、だいぶ機械化が進んでいて女の子でも簡単に運転できたり操作できたりできるようになってきたので自分でもできるんじゃないかなっていうふうに考えました。
Unlike Marina, who made a U-turn to the country to succeed the family business, there are other people who were born in the city making an I-turn to the country. This is an agricultural producer corporation in Japan. It selects employees and allots farmland to each employee. They farm the land and sell the products. It is a new type of farming company. By joining the company, an employee can farm without land while receiving a salary. You can even receive bonuses depending on the harvest amount. There is low risk of failure, and people can learn technology while being paid. Just a year ago, the young farmers in their 20s to 30s who work here used to live in the city, their lives very far from farming. But now, they have become experienced farmers earning millions, and their dream is to learn farming technology here and own their own farms.
大変じゃないですか仕事は？
大変体力的にはすぐ疲れますけどでも楽しいですね。
どの部分が楽しいですか？
なんていうんですかね、こうそんなにマニュアル化してないじゃないですか。いろんな変化があって あと自然が好きだっていうのもあるので、その変化についていってる感じがすごく楽しいです。
まだ若いですね、
はい、
今からどんなもう道で行きたいとか、なんか考えとかありますか？
道は、日本国内で農業をするっていう一つの道と、あともう一つは、海外の乾燥地域、砂漠じゃないんですけど、農業がしにくい地域の農業をもっと学んで、そっちでちょっと働けたらなとかっていうふうに思います。はい、
そうですね、多分本当にどうかな、やっぱり一番やりがいがあるのは自分で全部やることかなっていう、一人でお金も出して自分の本当に好きなように。ただそれはすごくリスクもありますよね。一人でやるってことは自分が怪我したらもう終わりなんで。
This company caught the attention of the media as a company that employs young farmers who farm while receiving a salary. Their goal is to promote the I turn to the country, persuading young people who were born and raised in the city to come to the country.
具体的に言うと、結局農業の担い手がいなくなる、そうするとやっぱり農業の産業がね、進まない。それをじゃあどうやるかっていうと、やっぱりそこには若い人に来てもらって、彼らが次の世代を担うという農業という産業をまたしっかりと作っていくというところが一番かなと。具体的には、農業したい人を集まれと、あるいは農業に期待する人を集まれと、それをきっちりと回すということが大事かなと思ってますね。
Compared to the large corporate-style farms abroad, how smart is Korean agriculture machinery? Agricultural smart technology in Korea is being led by the government and academia. The Rural Development Administration developed an automatic seed planting system. The system has automated the process of supplying pots, filling it with soil, and planting the seeds. In floriculture, bio-nurseries, and farmhouses, the most amount of labor and time goes into moving the seedlings from seedbeds to pots. This cumbersome process is now done by machines instead of humans. This newly developed system has combined the process of supplying pots, adding soil, drilling holes, and transplanting the seeds into one process, and therefore manual labor is no longer necessary. By replanting the seeds using this system, one can plant 2,800 seedlings per hour and can get 12 times the amount of work done by humans. It is expected to reduce management cost by 60%. In 1995, the RDA developed for the first time in the world a grafting robot for fruit vegetables. They filed a patent and completed registration for the newly developed automatic seedling planting system. They are planning on transferring the technology to businesses so that bio-nurseries and farmhouses can use the system. In all fields of agriculture, machines are replacing human labor. The world population announced by the UN in October 2011 was 7 billion. In 1804, it was only 1 billion. The population has grown explosively, 1 billion every decade during the 20th century. Although the amount of farmland where plants can be cultivated is limited, the number of people that must eat those plants is on the rise at an alarming rate. How long will our agriculture be able to withstand this explosive population growth? Professor Dixon D. Depomier of Columbia University has suggested an unconventional idea to the world: a plant factory. His idea is to build skyscrapers in the middle of the city and use each floor as farming fields, creating a vertical farm. Korea has been researching for the past 3 to 4 years plant factories and LED lights, which is artificial lighting. Thanks to such efforts, a considerable amount of technology for plant factories has been accumulated. Also, in October 2011, the National Assembly passed an act regarding the promotion and support for urban farming, and so a legal and institutional system is now in place. The RDA built a plant factory last March. The factory uses state-of-the-art technology, automating the sowing and harvesting process. They also use robotic technology and artificial lighting in their production system. Heating and air conditioning for the plant factory uses a ground source heat pump, a new and renewable energy. 15% of the electricity used at the factory is produced by the solar power system. The cultivation environment such as light, temperature, humidity, and nutrients are remote-controlled automatically by computers and cell phones. Currently, leaf vegetables such as romaine, lettuce, Angelica utilis machino, and bok choy are being grown in this factory. The RDA is conducting research on vertical plant factories that use solar light and horizontal plant factories that use artificial light. They are also conducting research on automation and robotics.
농촌진흥청에서는 식물 공장과 관련해서 관련된 재배 시스템이라든지 자동화 기술, 이와 더불어서 재배 기술을 연구하고 있고요. 여기서 개발된 기술은 농업 현장에 피드백시켜서 앞으로 우리나라 농업 발전을 위해서 확대 보급하는 것을 중점적으로 연구 개발하고 있습니다.
Korea, a strong nation in semiconductors, has also dominated the global LED market. Korea is already in the lead among rival nations in LED artificial lighting technology, which is indispensable in plant factories. LED lighting is replacing solar light. It is a device that changes electric energy into light energy by using semiconductors. It lasts long and uses less electricity, so it can save up to 95% of energy compared to incandescent light. By lighting the plants with only blue and red wavelengths, which are related to photosynthesis, crops can be grown with high energy efficiency. This cutting-edge light-emitting diode that substitutes the sun can grow ginseng in just 2 years, which normally takes 6 years. In May, Korea's largest underground plant factory was built in an underground passage in Incheon. This plant factory that was built together with a book cafe uses the fresh vegetables grown here to make salads to provide the citizens who come to read. These fresh vegetables were grown underground, where there is no sunlight. They are the fruits of nature grown by human technology. Plant factories have high energy and cost efficiency. However, the problem is the initial setup cost. Due to the massive setup cost, research and development are still led by the government sector, but the base is spreading to the private sector. Currently, about 10 companies in Korea are researching, manufacturing, and supplying plant factories. Urban farming is extremely popular nowadays, and urban plant factories are at the front line. The number of people participating in urban farming has reached 1 million, and major construction companies, food services, and government offices are turning their attention to plant factories to produce healthy foods and to foster emotional development. In order to expand the base of plant factories, a private plant factory manufacturer is developing a distributional model and is focusing on economic feasibility. They believe that if productivity does not follow the investment cost, it can only remain as a mere hobby. A plant factory manufacturing company in Yongin, Gyeonggi-do is working on how to reduce production and maintenance costs. The price of distributional plant factories sold by this factory is $28,000 for export products and $15,000 for domestic products. It is a huge price cut from previous prices. A conveyor belt is operated on one chain, drastically reducing the manufacturing cost. Also, LED lights as well as fluorescent lights are used, so the operating cost is inexpensive.
식물공장 상용화를 위해서는 식물공장 설비의 규격화와 완성도 있는 제품 생산을 하는 것이라고 생각하고 있습니다. 이로써 많은 사람들이 식물공장 채소를 접함으로써 식물공장 채소의 시장 확대를 통해 생산 설비를 확대해 나갈 생각입니다.
Farmlands have reduced due to industrialization and urbanization. In order to grow a stable and abundant supply of agricultural goods is unpredictable and uncontrollable weather, plant factories may be the only option left to humankind. There is also considerable change in processing, distribution, and consumption due to the change in the production process that came with smart agriculture. Agricultural goods produced with smart technology are transformed into smart products. If 10 kilograms of rice is sold as it is worth around $20. But if the rice is processed, its value rises greatly. According to the Ministry of Food, Agriculture, Forestry, and Fisheries, it becomes $100 if made into instant rice, $125 if made into rice cakes, and $213 if made into liquor. Depending on how the rice is processed, the value increases up to 10 times more. This is the Sweet Potato Cake Company in Japan. This manufacturing company that makes cakes with sweet potatoes was originally a farm that produced sweet potatoes, the regional product of southern Japan. Competing with other farms over the common sweet potato became too much for this farm, and so they created a value-added product and grew it into a sweet potato cake company that became famous all over Japan.
こちらの方のですね、右側の方にトンネルオーブンの大きいものが来ております。こちらの方が、辛いもレアケーキを製造する、トンネルオーブンになりまして、あと左の方にございますのが、こちらの方が焼き菓子を焼いておりますトンネルオーブンになります。この2台を使いまして、毎日焼いてるところなんですけれども、辛いもレアケーキの右側のオーブンの方はですね、1日4万から5万個製造しております。
In order to make better tasting sweet potato cakes, different types of seeds from all over the world are being tested in the factory's plantation. Instead of adding artificial ingredients to create a sweeter taste, they are making an effort to find the best tasting sweet potato.
ここは150種類の辛いもが栽培されておりまして、毎年収穫をして加工をしてお菓子になってます。なぜこんなにたくさんの品種を栽培しているかと言いますと、そのお菓子に、どのお菓子がどの品種が合うかっていうのをテストするために栽培しているのもあるんですけれども、将来食糧危機が来た時のために、たくさんの品種を栽培していれば、どの品種がもう絶えてしまったとしてもどの品種かは残るかもしれないということで、こんなにたくさんの品種を栽培をしております。
Using the best ingredients, 40 types of sweet potato cakes are being sold. Particularly, a cake targeting young urban women who like sweet tastes is hugely popular all over Japan. This cake is known as the flight attendant cake and is famous for being a favorite of flight attendants who travel back and forth. It has secured a spot in Tokyo's Skytree, which is said to be extremely difficult for even major corporations to get space. They have become an object of envy among Japanese farmers. Starting at the primary industry of growing sweet potatoes, moving on to the secondary industry of making sweet potato cakes, and then to the tertiary industry, which is distribution and sale. They have combined all three, which is called the centenary industry. They have become a model for farms who wish to create profit, a new trend in Japanese agriculture since the 1990s.
6次産業はやっぱり韓国も今非常に加工芋がいいんだそうですね。米の2倍収入が あるんだそうです。で日本では考えられないぐらい辛いもブームですね、韓国は。ただ芋を売るだけじゃ地元に職場ができませんので、加工業を起こそうということを盛んに言われますね。でうちの加工場を見に来られるわけですけど、加工場を成り立たせるためには売る先がないと成り立たないわけですね。これがやっぱり難しいところだろうと思うんです。農産物をどう生かすかということで加工場を作りますと、外国からいろんなものを輸入しても地元産の農産物を使ってるというのはやっぱり外国からどんなものが来ても強いわけですよね。だからそういった意味では非常に大切な産業ですし、若い人々にとっても非常に大自然と一体になってですね、魅力あふれる仕事だと思いますね。
There is another product that uses sweet potatoes. It is the sweet potato liquor, which has been popular in southern Japan for a long time. Unlike Korea, where liquor made by large conglomerates are sold nationwide, in Japan, liquor produced locally tend to sell well in the region. The Sweet Potato Liquor Company, with a tradition of 45 years, is also widely loved by the locals. Five % of the total production is made in the traditional way, and they are visited by the elderly who miss the old days and young people in search of new experiences. The traditional method should have been discontinued in order to increase product efficiency. However, the company's will to preserve their local product transcends profit or economic feasibility. It has become another attraction and shows the history of Japanese liquor. The food industry has the potential to create high added value, and by forming connections with agriculture and the service industry, it can lead to a synergy effect enabling them to grow together. Moreover, in this day and age where interest in health and well-being has heightened, demand for functional foods is growing at an explosive rate. This is another processing company in Japan. This was a daikon farm until 6 years ago. It is now transforming into a dehydrated vegetable powder factory in order to handle the increasing production output. After realizing the value rose several times more by dehydrating the daikon and making it into a powder, the daikon farm transformed itself into a dehydrated vegetable powder company. Now they are being bombarded with requests from other producers, leading to a rise in output. Consequently, they are earning a higher added value. The market for dehydrated vegetables is also bright. They are easier to store and more appropriate to make into instant foods, so demand from companies that manufacture foods is also on the rise.
それからその消費地である、日本でいうと東京とか大阪、大量の人間がいるところにここからはものすごく距離があって遠いんで、生の状態だったら例えば10トントラックで10台運ばないといけないのを、乾燥してしまうとたったの1台か 0.5 台で10台が済むんで、その物流費というのがものすごく小さくなっていると、消費地の近辺のところと競争ができるというのは大きなメリットだと思いますね。
Smart agricultural processed food is an integrated industry that revives agriculture, industry, and service businesses. And as each field crosses over into the other, the model that creates the best economic synergy effect is the Food Cluster Initiative. A food cluster refers to a network of professional organizations, research institutions, government agencies, and food companies that process agriculture and livestock products. It is an integrated area for the food industry that creates high-value products. Napa Valley in the U.S. is a successful case as a food cluster. Located 1 hour and 30 minutes north of San Francisco, it is a famous wine town in the U.S. There are over 200 wineries, big and small, in the area. With a history of 150 years, there are many world-famous wineries with a reputation as great as French wine. One place is the Robert Mondavi Winery. The founder of this winery, Robert Mondavi, is a legendary figure who made Californian wine famous worldwide based on innovative technology and strategic marketing.
He's about 90 years old right here in this image.
In 1966, Mondavi created a sensation in the U.S. wine industry by importing a stainless steel tank for the first time in the U.S. In those days, sanitation management and temperature control were difficult. And in order to overcome this production environment, he made a daring choice to adopt cutting-edge equipment at the time. In the tasting room in a corner of the maturation room, wine lovers from across the world have gathered to taste Mondavi wine, which is acknowledged as a cult wine.
Yeah, just get a spot. Yeah, they already see us. Yeah, Josh Groban. Yeah.
Outstanding wines, right? Really, very classic. When you think of what a California wine is, that's what you find when you taste the wine here. Just really outstanding. Lots of fruit, great tannins, and after that, of course, we bought a bunch of wine. So it was a very enjoyable experience.
Napa Valley is one of the main wine-producing regions in the world, and by combining it with California's R&D complexes, it produces high-quality premium wines. It has also become a world-famous tourist attraction with 19 million visitors a year.
Here in Napa Valley, we have about 450, maybe up to 500 wineries in Napa Valley. One reason why it's so popular, this valley, it's obviously the proximity to San Francisco. San Francisco being an hour's drive, so a lot of people come up here, visit San Francisco. But for our great quality of wines, one reason the great quality is because of the Mediterranean climate we have. So Mediterranean climate is only found around 7% of the world. So Mediterranean climate with great soils also. We also have 36 different kinds of soils found in this valley, which is 1/3 of the world's soil types. So with the wonderful soils and the wonderful climate, it enables us to make some high world-class wines.
The state government provides administration support, while research institutions provide technology support to produce high-quality grapes. Through this, farms grow high-quality grapes, which in turn are processed to produce world-class wine. This entire process became famous, beckoning many tourists, and it's become a must-visit wine destination. As a result, immense profit is being created. A smart idea changed a country town that grew grapes into a world-famous winery town that generates sales in the amount of $52 billion per year. This is the power of food clusters. Then what about food clusters in Korea? In preparation for an explosive growth in the food market, the Ministry of Food, Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries is creating a food cluster in Iksan, Jeollabuk-do in order to strengthen Korea's competitiveness in the food industry. Their initiative is to export agricultural foods in the amount of $20 billion by 2025 and reach the goal of employing 2 million people in the food industry. The master plan of the Ministry of Food, Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries is to create a food cluster named the Korean Food Valley. The first stage of the plan is to attract 150 food companies and 10 research institutes by the year 2015 and develop a complex called Food City beginning in 2016 that will accommodate a population of 20,000.
산업단지가 완성이 되면 4조 원 정도 생산 유발 효과와 22,000명 정도 고용 유발 효과가 나타날 것으로 생각하며 지역의 농업과 동방성장 효과도 기대하고 있습니다.
Iksan, located in Jeollabuk-do, has always been famous for its food. Sunchang's red pepper paste, Gochang's rubus koreanus fruit, Imshil's cheese and Jeonju's bibimbap, the sales of each region's traditional food is already high. If the competitiveness of each regional traditional food that has been developing individually is combined, and if support for R&D is given, then tourists are attracted, the Iksan food cluster will achieve more than expected. The integration of agricultural production and tourism is already active in many areas, although it may not be a cluster. They are the farms that provide an agricultural experience in each region. This is an agriculture experience farm in Yangpyeong, Gyeonggi-do. This farm was designated by the RDA as Gyeonggi-do's Agriculture Education Center. People can experience making traditional sauces and local foods. Kim Mi-hye, who runs this farm, developed aloe red pepper paste while working at a conglomerate and received the media's attention as a food expert. She returned to Yangpyeong, the place where she was born and raised, and taught her neighbors how to make fermented sauces and pastes. People heard about her through word of mouth, so she opened this farm so that people could come and learn.
전통장은 햇볕이 좋아야 되고 물이 좋아야 되는데 어떻게 저희 지도 교수님하고 저희 마을에다가 항아리를 안치게 됐어요. 그래서 안치다 보니까 이렇게 사람들이 지인들이 오면서 이곳이 너무 좋다고 갑자기 이렇게 소문이 나서 기항까지 하고 이곳으로 다시 오게 된 계기가 됐죠.
Annually, about 4,000 urbanites come to visit and learn how to make sauces, as well as have an enjoyable time in the country. Children especially have a good time at the farm and leave with happy memories. Children from Bundang pick corn, ride on tractors, and play in the water. They enjoy nature at the farm, something they can't experience living in the city.
오늘 여기 와서 뭐뭐 했어요? 오전에?
여기서 뗏목 타기도 하고요. 옥수수도 따고 그리고 여러 가지 송어도 잡고 그런데요. 공기도 맑고 되게 풍경도 좋고 그러니까 그렇게 해서 좋은 것 같아요.
The farm experiences have several advantages. It brings new energy to the regional economy, it revives the mind and spirit of urban residents, and it provides growing children with emotional stability.
원래 이 다리 밑이 제일 시원해요.
그냥 저희 아이들이 도시에서만 살다가 이렇게 탁 트인 데서 오고 또 이렇게 뭐 물고기 잡고 뗏목 타고 이런 체험을 하니까 아이들한테 참 좋은 경험이 되는 것 같아요.
Since 2002, over 1,000 agriculture experiencing villages have been planned as part of the green tourism policy. Working 5 days a week, city dwellers are seeking out country villages to get some rest. They are searching for agriculture experiencing villages on the internet and smartphones. In order to meet the growing demand, farmers are promoting their farms on the internet and Twitter.
여기 이 마을에 농장이 들어서면서 좀 마을에 변화가 있었다면 어떤 게 있어요?
처음에는 이제 마을도 어르신들이 뭐 누가 오는 것도 별로 이렇게 그냥 왔나 보다 했는데 이렇게 사람들이 정말 몇천 명씩 오고 그러다 보니까 마을에서 이 마을이 좋은가 보다 어르신들도 좋아하고 또 오신 분들이 여기 농산물이 맛있다고 농가의 그 농산물을 사주고 그러니까 이게 우리가 농사 짓는 게 귀하고 이렇게 팔리는구나. 그래서 어르신들도 뭐랄까 이렇게 하면 되겠다 하는 변화? 그런 게 지금 마을에서 많이 일어나고 있죠.
The RDA appoints excellent farms with good experience in education programs every year. They also provide detailed information. The consumers that have sampled such culture, experience, and agricultural products leave their reviews and comments on Twitter and Facebook. This leads to credibility and awareness of the programs. The exchange between farms and consumers online continues in the real world, creating a new cultural landscape in the country. As the suppliers of agricultural products become smarter, the consumers in the city have also become smart about the country. By using smart devices such as smartphones and tablet PCs, People can now easily check the entire process of when and where the products were produced and distributed. As consumers become more concerned about agricultural food safety, such as pesticide residue and place of origin, a history of the products are being provided starting with Korean beef, and the scope is expanding to vegetables and fruit. The National Agricultural Cooperative Federation provides a barcode scanning service where you can access information through a QR code. Major distributors also provide the history of beef and organic foods.
이거 이력 시스템을 해보시니까 어떠세요?
아무래도 좀 더 믿음이 가고 평소에 아기 때문에 아무래도 이제 이유식 고기 같은 것도 좀 걱정돼서 좋은 거로 이제 고르고 했었는데 이런 거 보니까 조금 더 믿음이 가고 뭔가 좀 편리하고 좋은 것 같아요.
Also, barcodes or QR codes are attached to agricultural products, providing all the information on the product to consumers, showing their confidence in marketability.
네, 우리 농산물 고르실 때
예.
주로 어떤 기준으로 많이 보시는
예,
거세요?
우선 신선도를 보고요. 그다음에 친환경을 선택을 하고요. 또 가격도 좀 어느 정도 저렴해야 좋겠죠. 그런 거를 보고 고르고 있습니다.
또 날짜도 중요하고요. 또 이제 뭐 만약에 교란이라고 생각하면은 방목에서 키워가지고 이제 난 교란인지 그런 것도 확인하고 대체적으로 확인을 많이 해요.
The Korea Agro Fisheries and Food Trade Corp is operating a one-stop market where people compare prices, search, and buy products. A private shopping mall company is also expanding to agricultural products and standardizing products as well as strengthening quality control. The main form of smart consumption, along with internet shopping malls, is social commerce. In social commerce, if the number of people who want to buy a product reaches a certain level, the product is sold at a huge discount rate. That includes service industries, industrial products, and now agricultural products. Gyeonggi Cyber Market is operated by Gyeonggi-do. It is an online market where reliable foods are sold at reasonable prices through direct transactions between producers in the country to consumers in the city. The Gyeonggi Cyber Market, which opened 11 years ago, now sells over 5,000 types of products from over 330 farms. Last year, $1.3 million worth of agricultural products were sold on the site. In accordance with the smartphone age of today, they also developed a mobile app. They have now acquired over 130,000 members. This app has become Korea's main online market for agricultural products.
모바일 환경은 그 판매자나 고객들 모두에게 바로 직접적으로 상품을 보여줄 수 있는 환경이라고 생각됩니다. 특히나 고객분들은 먹거리에 대해서는 그 까다로운 기준을 세우고 계신데요. 기존의 온라인 쇼핑몰에서는 글과 그림으로만 제품을 보시다가 최근에는 실시간으로 농장주와 대화를 통해 가지고 제품을 구매하고 있는 단계입니다. 지속적으로 모바일 환경이 발전하다 보면은 저희 농식품 분야에서도 새로운 판매 모델이 생성될 것 같다고 생각하고 있습니다.
Agricultural products are difficult to promote and advertise, but as consumers use social network services to voluntarily promote products and attract buyers, costs for marketing or distribution barely incur from the farmer's perspective. So it contributes greatly to the farmer's profit. Since there is no retail margin, consumers are able to buy good products at a cheap price. Through technology, our lives are becoming easier and faster. Smart devices have created stronger bonds among people and walls between fields have broken down, creating an integrated, new society. In that sense, the main agents in the smart age is not the devices, but the people. In the end, smart technology exists for people. The world's largest industry is not IT or automobiles. It is the agricultural food market. The market size is astronomical, amounting to $6 trillion. It is changing and growing just as quickly as the high-tech industry. 1 million farmers over the age of 65, an agricultural trade deficit of $20 billion per year. The current state of Korean agriculture is dark, but fortunately, we are standing at a new starting line in the age of smart agriculture. An age where there are 16,000 millionaire farmers. The smart tech country is becoming a land of opportunity for young farmers. The wave of smart technology will become stronger and higher. The first wave began with the agrarian society, going on to the second wave of the industrial society. The third wave was the age of information, and now the world is facing the fourth wave, an intellectual society. In the age of knowledge, through smart technology, the wave of smart technology will change our agricultural landscape.